you live big? Well, you may need a big Chev in your life. Is this the best looking slate grey Chevy to come through Big Dog Build's workshop? I'll let you be the judge of that one. I'm Dean Bleasner, the co-founder of Big Dog Builds. We've had well over 500 trucks through the workshop now. We are the most awarded American truck company in Australia. If you like big Chevs just like this one, let's go and walk around this big thing and show you what it's all about. Starting at the front end, we've got the Offroad Creative front bar, and then we've got the Baja Designs LP9 Sport LED lights ×3. These ones here are the driving combo, so you got your spot lens in there. You've also got your flood lens inside the one light. So that's gonna give you a great range of light out the front of the vehicle. You can twist those ones around, really get that nice spread going. You're gonna get a combination of distance and spread, all in the one light. Jumping around to the side of this big Chevy, gonna get inside. As we do, we've got the AMP Research electric side steps. These are the XL model. What that means is they've got that additional little sill on the side there, the LED lights underneath the step, shine bright at night, and then the steps nice and tucked away up underneath that sill as well. So getting in and out, these XL side steps for the bigger vehicles is definitely the way to go. They're gonna drop down that little bit further than the normal series, and getting in and out, it's really a breeze. It's a lot better step to stand on than the factory step. Always recommend 3 points of contact as well, safety first. But I've jumped inside, I've got out the Logic AIRIQ remote control. What this remote control is for the airbags at the rear end of the vehicle. We've gone and installed the Boss double bellow airbags here with the suspension kit. A few different variations on the Chevy 2500 model. So you simply push that button there on the remote control, unlock it there. You can pre-select different trailer settings or vehicle settings once you know what sort of pressure you're wanting to run, whether it's the boat on the back, whether it's the caravan on the back, if the canopy's loaded, or if you want to run 0 PSI. Simply hold down the button there. It's going to give you the pressure range. And once you've preset these different settings up the top here, you can scroll across the top. You've got up to 7 different presets there. And once you double tap on that button, it's going to inflate or deflate those airbags to the desired pressure. Having this one here, nice and handy location, whether it's just Velcroed up on the dash there, you're going to be able to touch the button at any time, see what air is in left and right airbag. If you feel like you need a little bit more while you're on the fly, while you're driving along, the passenger can grab the remote control, inflate, deflate those airbags, and you're really going to feel the difference while towing on the fly. So different road conditions, different tire pressures, different trailer ball weights, whether you got a headwind or tailwind, it's amazing how much difference a few PSI can make in the leaf helper airbags up in the rear end. As we swing around to the back here, those that have noticed, we've got the Norweld Canopy tray combination on the back. So the Elite series from Norweld, gone are the days of the checkered plate, the nice color-coded option on the side of the tray there. What Norweld are known for is obviously big, robust, and capable canopy tray combinations. Whether you're taking off the canopy, you're running it as a work tray for around the property, or a daily setup, you're whacking that one there. You might be able to also have 2 different canopy options. It's something that I'm seeing more and more of. You've got a work combination that's built for the property. It's got all the tools inside the canopy. Simply lift off the work canopy and put on the play one. So that might have more fridges, the little pantry already loaded inside. You got your air on board in there for your tire inflation. So whether you're wanting to swap between a work setup, a play setup, or if you're wanting to run a quad bike or sort of motorbikes on the back there as well, you can do up the lift up sides as well. So big, versatile, everything comes off super easy. So if you are wanting to get in and work around the vehicle, things like these flares on the back here, simply 4 bolts there, slide them out to cover the wheel and tire combination. Super simple setup, and in the slate grey finish with the alley, I quite like it. As you can see, as we walk around the back here, we got a ladder, quite a simple roof rack setup on the top. Speak to Norweld Australia and you're going to work out what setup's going to work best for your application. But big, usable and practical, that's what Norweld are known for. Got the ladder on the back, the 37-inch tyre there, as well as a jerry can holder. Swing around to the side, you've got your under tray water tank there, water outlet on the side here. The air on board in this one is actually inside the canopy, and we'll get around to the wheel and tyre combination as we swing back around to the front. You got your fuel fill location, your AdBlue still on there as well. If you did want to take your canopy off, simply unplug the big Anderson plug there. That's going to be the DC-DC charger from the front of the vehicle, charging up the standalone battery setup that's in the rear. So again, super simple connections, Simple is better, or do you like the more complex canopy installs? I'm keen to see your feedback. I love seeing all the different ones that come through the Big Dog Builds workshop. There's some great canopy manufacturers out there doing some pretty cool setups. I'm keen to see more and more coming through the shed this year. The one thing I do say to anyone that is choosing a canopy tray company to work with is make sure that they've done something on these American trucks. It's not as simple to get all your blind spot, radars, cameras, indicators, all of that setup done on the rear end. So make sure that you're confident in the installer's capabilities. And Norweld Australia been around forever, so they obviously know what they're doing. Remember, you may have a big truck, but weight is still key. So my recommendation, when you're loading up the back end of the vehicle, still have that GVM in mind. This one here has got a massive 58-28 kilogram GVM capabilities. So that, whether you're putting a big trailer on the back, a rooftop tent, think about the canopy install, every single additional drawer, whether it's the air fryer, whether it's the 4 fridges, whatever you're going for, this all adds weight to the vehicle as well. So keep that in mind. Weight, you definitely will run out of it because the tear weight of these big trucks do weigh a lot more than your standard vehicle. And even though you got these big GVM numbers in the NB2 category, it's still quite easy to hit that 58-28 kilos if you're not careful. All right, so this thing is big, it is impressive. In the NB2 category, this is a 5-inch BDS suspension kit with a 37-inch tyre combination. For me, it does seem massive, this thing. I don't know whether it's a Norweld Canopy tray combo that sits a little bit higher than some of the others on the market, or this one's just come off the hoist, ready for a wheel alignment, and they always sit a bit higher once they've first come off the hoist as well. So I think this one's gonna settle down a little bit. Once you go and you hit a few gutters, those leaf springs set in. Having the leaf spring reset done on the rear of this one will mean that it will be quite rigid to start off with. The leaf springs definitely work themselves into a slightly different position. I think that rear end's gonna lower down. The front end seems to settle as well. The 5-inch BDS suspension kit is one of my favorite combinations when it comes to fitting 37-inch tires. If you're thinking about a 37-inch tire, the 5-inch suspension kit, and you don't have a canopy on the back, this is the one consideration, is to think about if you're wanting to carry a full-size spare, where you're gonna fit it. It won't fit up underneath, or if they do, they're definitely not pretty. It'll turn a 37-inch into a 35-inch, and trust me, it doesn't look good. But 37, 12.5, 18. So 18-inch rim, slightly different setup. As you can see, a lot of our other videos, we run a 20-inch negative offset wheel on this one to fill out the guards. For this one here, stepping down to an 18-inch Black Rhino wheel definitely looks the part. And going for the 37, 12.5, 18 from the Yokohama Geolander. These are the G003, so the mud terrain tire from Yoki. Nice aggressive looking sidewall. And these ones here have got the 128Q, so 1,800 kilo payload per tire. The 3,600 kilo payload per axle is going to be plenty, even for the big GVM like this one runs here. With the wheel and tire combination as well, the Apex valves, these ones here make inflating, deflating the tires super simple. Simply pull that valve there, it's going to deflate from 55, 60 PSI down to 15, 20 PSI in a matter of about 20 seconds or so. So I'll show you how that one works right now. Literally unscrew the cap there, pull this little valve, spin that around to a slightly better spot, and definitely loud. That's it, 15 down to, I reckon that's about 20 PSI. I'll get my trusty air gauge. Shout out to Jindai. Had this one since day one, I reckon. It's traveled with me in my toolbox. Doesn't get used a lot, that toolbox, but this one here, look at that, 20 PSI on the dot. I don't know whether it's just a thing I have, but I can seem to just look at a tire and know what pressure's gonna be in it. As we saw there, pulled that one. I don't know whether we can go back on the video and count that one, but it's about 20 seconds from 60 PSI down to 20 PSI. If you start on the beach with these big 37s and a truck this size, around that sort of 20 PSI mark is going to give you a great amount of tire on the sand or on those corrugations. Keep an eye on the pressures in the side of the vehicle. You've got your TPMS obviously in all of these trucks there. You can keep an eye on how much the pressures fluctuate as well. So if you're on the corrugated roads and you want to keep an eye on it, Temperature's one thing that these big tyres, especially in the mud terrain tyre with the big aggressive sidewall, big thick sidewall on these ones, you don't want them getting too hot. So I recommend playing around with your tyre pressures, seeing how the vehicle drives, coming out, feeling the tyres, seeing how much heat is in them as well, because looking after your tyres, it's going to make sure that you and the family get home nice and safe. You're not going to have these things blow out on you. And to be honest, I haven't had any issues when it comes to any of the tyres that we recommend here at Big Dog Builds. Going for a good load rated tyre, a good load rated wheel with good construction there as well is going to make sure that, again, you get home nice and safe. Having tyre dramas on the road is definitely not fun. It can really wreck your holiday. So playing around, getting used to how your vehicle operates in different conditions with different tyre pressures. There's not really a set rule as to where you should start, where you should finish. It really comes down to trial and error. I'm sure there's some caravan owners, some travelers on the road with similar setups, similar weights, and get onto those forums, speak to others, see what they're going. They're going to give you the best sort of starting point to run with, but it really comes down to trial and error. All right, so I'll go looking around this workshop, look for an air inflation tool. We'll whack some air back into this tyre, get it back up to match the others. I'm keen to get in this one and see how it drives. One thing, I've just looked up top. It's up so high, almost forgot the Big Dog Builds accessory rack up on top. Let's jump up there before we hit the road. That one there is the V1 combination from Big Dog Builds. You've got your steady curved light bar up the front. You've got your steady micro touch lights in the sides. This one run through the Switch Pro SP9100 switching unit. It's going to allow you to dim down the side lights, turn them between white and amber. The front steady side light's going to be independently switched from the ones on the bull bar as well. You don't want to run all of your lights on the front because a light, as good as it is, you don't want to run that with the spotties on the bar, especially if there's a bit of moisture in the air. So a bit of moisture in the air is going to pick up that light. It's going to flood down the windscreen and not be the best driving experience. But when it's a nice clear night, having all of the light you can find, some may be scared of the light and have a heap of spotties across the top. 80. No, I'm just kidding. Love you guys. Big Chevy or live big? Which setup are you going for? These big Chevs, in with the 5-inch lift, the 6.5-inch lift, it's amazing how well they still drive. They definitely feel so super confident on the road. With these Fox 2.5 remote resi shocks, means that you can adjust them both low speed and high speed. With this setup here with a canopy on the back, it's not the lightest setup in the world, but it still feels very, very capable, and it's still quite nimble as well. It's not like the Ram 2500, for example. If you're wanting to put a canopy on a vehicle, the Ram 2500 has coils in the rear end, so we have to do a lot of work when it comes to the suspension setup to really dial in the shocks to get them to handle that weight, and it still feels quite boaty when you're swinging around on those roads. But this one here definitely feels super comfortable, super capable as well. I had the pleasure of driving Aussie Destination's big 6.5-inch lifted Chevy. Live big, one of the biggest slate grey Chevys, one of the iconic builds through Big Dog Builds. This one here, 5-inch lift with 37s. There's a 6.5-inch lift with 37s. 5-inch lift, I think, is the perfect sweet spot in between. So if you're wanting to run a 37-inch tyre, being with the 5-inch suspension kit is my favourite setup. The gap between the tyres and the wheel arches in the 5-inch lift, I think, is better proportionate than the 6.5-inch lift. There's just a little bit too much going on there. You really want to definitely have the 37 by 13.5-inch tyres if you are going up to that larger combo. You also need to go a wider wheel track to really pump out those flares and make it sort of suit. It really comes down to the drivability of the vehicle. Haven't seen any issues when it comes to the driveline components, the CVs and things like that, even with the big 5-inch, 6-inch kits. It really puts everything into line. The CV angle gets realigned back to pretty much dead straight. The upper control arms are also nice and level as well. With the BDS suspension kit, they've put a lot of thought into how these kits really handle on the road. And the best introduction that I saw with the BDS suspension kits came down to the Fox 2.5 remote reservoir shocks. So the Fox Elite DSC shocks is definitely what makes these big lift kits and these big trucks super capable, and why the Chevy 2500 is one of the most capable vehicles and popular vehicles in the HD truck segment in Australia. So when it comes to the Switch Pro location in these Chevy 2500s, we've done a little bit of a tweak and we're putting it up here now. Still going through a little bit of an R&D phase, but Having the Switch Pro set up the top there, you can see here you've got your DRL, which is the light in the spotlight up on the roof rack. You've also got your fog lights there to switch on and off as well. So they're the little cube steady LED lights in the Offroad Creative bar itself. And then you've got your spot, which are your spotlights on the front bar, the light bar in the bumper itself, as well as the roof LED light. Super simple setup. It comes with memory built into the unit. It's got solid state relay, so you don't have to do fuses to every single output. There's 4 different channels with 15 amps of output, as well as 4 channels of 30 amps. So for something like the little steady side lights on the side of these roof rack, they're only going to pull about 1.5, 2 amps maximum each. So you can easily use the 15 amp circuits in the Switch Pro combination to run the LED lights without additional fuses. So for the 3 LED spotlights on the front of this vehicle, it's independently relayed and it's got its own power feed to that relay. And the Switch Pro is just a trigger wire to that relay. Low voltage disconnect also built into the Switch Pro unit as well. And this is a really, really neat setup. It'll keep your wiring super neat, both in the engine bay, as well as this neat little controller inside the vehicle. As we know with these Chevys, they literally come with everything. You don't have to do anything additional inside the vehicle, unless you're wanting to run the under-seat battery setup for big dog builds, charge the kids' iPhones even when the vehicle's off. But the Switch Pro setup here, put on your high beams, that's going to trigger those lights on the front of the vehicle, turn off the high beams, and those lights are going to turn off. If you want to see these things boogie up the beach, this series here is one to watch. If you want to see another Chevy, this one here is one to watch as well.